Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Katie.
And tonight we have a full show for you.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. But before we get into all of that, which includes food, which includes movies, which includes face coverings, which includes movie previews, we first want to take a moment to recognize that this week, Magic Happens opened 1 year ago. Right?
Yeah, my ringtone is still Magic Happens.
It's great. That was a very good introduction, by the way, Kidders96. I feel like we should have this recorded or something.
I know, right?
Yeah. But it's a full show. It's going to be great. But 1 year ago, we were seeing Magic Happens for the first time and a couple days. But we had no clue that it would only run for 2 weeks. 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And it's interesting because I've been going through photos of those 2 weeks, and I'm sure we would have, we skipped some of the evening times.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we wouldn't have if we'd had any clue what was coming. But very quickly, what is your favorite part of Magic Happens?
The finale unit, obviously. Specifically when Tinkerbell throws her pixie dust.
Poof.
Because it's just pure magic.
Because it's happening.
Magic is happening.
Magic is happening.
Whoa.
That is true. It's a great show, and hopefully we will get to see it again someday. Let us know what you think the best part of the parade is, and it really is a great parade and great soundtrack, and I just enjoy the music at the end. Actually,
the music at the end
that's my favorite part.
That is specifically what my ringtone is. And it's
that wonderful wishes part.
Point where when I'm driving, and we all know how many spam calls we get in a day. I'll be driving, and sometimes it'll just interrupt my music, but I'll take it as an opportunity to jam to that part of Magic Happens. Anyway, that's just a side note.
I always like being in the car behind someone who's jamming to a song, and then looking at the car to the right or the left of them.
Yeah.
To see if they notice.
I'm sure I get a lot of weird looks.
It's all good. It's great. All right. So let's start off this last week or so. There's been lots of trailers that came out. Yes. I think we had a new Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer came out just before the Dapsies last week. Then we had a Mighty Ducks Game Changers had a new trailer that came out as well. Gosh. We unfortunately just don't have time to talk about all of them. I'm sure they're going to be great. But what we do have time to talk about tonight is Luca had its first official trailer come out. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, but I was surprised.
So am I.
By how much of the story they gave away.
Really?
Yes, because if you think of what their original teaser description of it was versus what we saw.
That's true.
There was a pretty big reveal that I actually did not expect to see until we saw the movie. And I don't know that it's bad or good. I mean,
well, we can talk about it because it's a trailer, right?
It's a trailer. I think
was your surprise that they are both sea monsters?
And that they showed them, period.
That's fair.
I think yes, both, but two, the fact of how it works. And there were just multiple things in that where I was just like, you just gave a lot of the story away that surprised me.
This movie itself looks beautiful. It looks gorgeous. The music is wonderful. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a wonderful story of tolerance because it's obviously there are no sea monsters allowed in this community, and
there are no cats in America.
And obviously, as you can see, one of the statues, in fact, killing sea monsters is a thing to brag about. So I'm sure it's going to be a cry fest, but I think it's going to be a story of this town learning to love these sea monsters.
I'm wondering the more and more that you mention that, and I'm thinking about this, it's getting more and more connections, correlations, whatever you want to call them, to Ratatouille in my brain I'm very curious. I'm excited. I think I've gone through an evolution for this this movie. And yes, I do think there was it kind of looked like the dad from La Luna. Agreed.
Also like the dad from the Pixar Spark short Out.
Yeah. And but I've gone through an evolution of this, of the initial announcement. I'm like, oh, that'll be cool. And then kind of as we've gotten more, I'm like, I don't know where they're going with this. And it kind of sounds like it doesn't have a lot. And now that we've seen this, I'm like, okay, I'm on board with this. I think it's gonna be a beautiful film.
Yeah.
In just about every way imaginable. And I can't wait to see it.
Definitely.
The other thing I think that's interesting about it is it says it'll be released in summer 2021. It does not say where or how, which I think smart on Disney's
think that's a very
move.
smart move, yeah.
But I think it brings up our next conversation that we should have also is Bob Chapek was a part of it was a seminar basically, but he started talking about the fact that the traditional theatrical windows for movies could change dramatically or not at all, like go away completely. And we already know this to be true because like Mulan didn't even go to theaters. It went straight to Premier Access Disney Plus. Soul went straight to Disney Plus. You've got Raya and the Last Dragon going to Disney Plus with Premier Access and theaters at the same time, which is great because we don't have theaters down here. But do you think, like, what do you think this is going to look like going forward? Does it matter? Is it going to kill off movie theaters? What do you think is going to happen? Are people even going to want to go to theaters?
I once again reiterate, I don't like movie theaters. I do miss the movie theater experience though. Like, which is funny because that's the whole thing I hate about movie theaters. But
more of like the group of like, hey, we have fun doing.
Yeah, having a group and like eating popcorn and expensive candy and all those things.
Yes.
I personally wouldn't mind if movies ran shorter in general at theaters because I feel like sometimes they just stay there to see how much money they can milk out of things, even when there's not a whole lot of people seeing them in theaters anymore. So I think it is smart that they are going to put it in theaters, have it do its thing, and then maybe put it on Disney Plus.
I'm curious too, now that you mention it, with how many movies that are getting put out every year.
Yeah.
Like there's really just not enough time to stay in theaters and enough theaters to keep all of them. So that actually might create some more space. But it is interesting. How do you keep both arenas profitable moving forward? I kind of think what we're going to see happening is a variable model where it's like, oh, this movie we project and we know through focus groups or however they do it, but they get the data points and they're like, this movie getting released solely in theaters and then we're going to put it on Disney Plus in 45 days, or I don't know. This movie we're not as maybe sure about, but we know there's this core group of fans that are going to really want to see it in the theaters. So we're going to release it in theaters and Premier Access the same day. So then families can watch it at home or whatever, or you can go to the theater and watch it as well. And I think especially for the next year or so, as we exit this COVID hot period of time, I don't know, but like this, as we leave kind of the central crisis point, I think people are still going to be weirded out going to places.
I agree.
And I think drive-ins are a perfect viable option. Like that's totally, that's totally fair. And I do think that the movie going experience is an event and we love it. But you know, I don't know that I'd want to, even if they were open, I don't think I would go to.
Movie theaters are a huge source of anxiety for me. So if I went to one that post-COVID, like not post-COVID world, but in a safer,
whatever the new normal is,
a safer world, I would be even more paranoid and I'd be even more anxious.
I can't imagine you going to one. Like,
thank you for knowing me.
the one thing I'm curious about is not like Raya and the Last Dragon, but you've got Black Widow coming up in, what is it, a month and a half, 2 months? And I will be curious.
I'll go to a drive-in for that.
Yeah, I guess that would work. Like, to me, that would be one where I'm like, can we just watch it at home? Like, as much as I would really love to watch every Marvel movie, always, like Marvel and Star Wars movies are ones that you do want to see on the really big screen. But part of me is like, I don't know where things are at right now. I don't know that I'd want to go to a theater.
Yeah.
I'd be much more comfortable going to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, any of those things than a theater.
Yeah. I would just rather, I would want the theater experience. So I feel like for those, I would go to a drive-in.
If you have really good speakers in your car.
Do I? I don't know. I don't know anything about my car.
They're okay.
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and I am very curious how this impacts the future of theaters. Like, clearly there's going to be some sort of a change in the business model that's happened because of the last year and the rapid growth of streaming. Like, it was already happening, and I think this whole pandemic just shot it through the roof. And so it'll be really interesting to see how that all plays out. I'll also be curious to see how many people go to theaters. I don't even know that we'll get these numbers, but maybe at some earnings report at some point, how many people for the opening weekend of Raya and the Last Dragon go to the theaters, how many people pay for premiere access, which one makes more, and how well it does versus some of the other movies that were released. You know, maybe, I mean, Onward's not even a fair comparison because that was right as things were closing down. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Definitely.
Yeah. Let's move on over to Walt Disney World, where this week it was announced that they have changed their face covering guidelines. And basically the new rule is you wear the face covering unless you're actively drinking or eating. And so when you're sitting at the table, face covering. When you drink, you can take it off. When you eat, you can take it off. What do you think about this?
When I have, we have some great local restaurants with outdoor seating. This is what I do. Like, I will, when I have like a drink at my table, I will take my mask off to drink. Like, I'll take it off very briefly to drink. And then I won't take my mask off until the food gets there. Like, that is just what I do. So to me, I was like, wait, not everybody does that. Like, people take it off the second they sit down at the table. I think it's great. I feel for the cast members who have to enforce this because I feel like you're just going to get even more angry guests. It's like, what do you mean I have to wear? I'm sitting down.
I think those are going to be the minority, though.
I hope so.
Like, my experience in Florida was very much 98% of the population there are kind of, oh, okay. And yes, there's a few people that are trying to get around the rules or whatever. But I feel like at this point, if you don't know that that's going to happen at some level, like, you've been living under a rock at this point. And I feel like Disney does a very good job of proactively communicating these rules. And I think you're right. There's going to be some people that don't like it, but my hunch is by and large, most of the people are going to be like, okay, this is just the next rule. I am curious to see when it hits. I haven't checked the Disneyland website today, but I do feel like that will be coming over here. And I assume that will happen before A Touch of Disney. And so that will be interesting to see. And like, I don't think it changes our experience that much, but it will be interesting to see how it's received and whatever, things like that. But I think it's actually more important that we just say, hey, this is what's going on, and this is how they're doing things moving forward.
Yeah.
Other exciting things going on is Joe Rohde, recently retired, is rehired, but at Virgin Galactic, where he is going to be helping make the experience for space travelers and their families and friends for space tourism. What do you think about this?
I have a lot of thoughts. I think it's weird. Am I happy for Joe Rohde? Absolutely. Am I happy for Virgin Galactic for getting Joe Rohde? Absolutely. Does it make me question his retirement a little bit? Yes, it most certainly does.
In what way?
I don't know. It's weird to me to retire and then less than a month later or a month later completely have a new job with a very similar title to what you were doing. Like, that's what's weird to me. And I don't want to say anything. And I'm sure, well, I mean, Michael Kool-Glazer is
honestly think
Virgin Galactic. So I'm guessing.
I think he's going to be the first of many Disney people we see move over there for one. I think I think we're going to see that Virgin Galactic really wants to create the quality experience that Disney is known for its space tourism. I think he probably, if he wasn't already recruited before he left, like there's a couple different ways it could play. One, this guy's available. I'm betting he had offers.
Oh, absolutely.
Everywhere. And the fact that one was Cole Glazier, who he already knows, and it's getting to be a part of history, I think is really hard to pass up.
Definitely.
So there is a possibility he retired, got an offer, ran with it.
Totally.
There's also a possibility that, hey, you know what? We just put a freeze on hundreds of millions of dollars of projects. All of your projects are a couple years off. You are getting towards the end of the thing. We know people that could potentially give you another opportunity. This is something that's okay as well.
And that is what it seems like to me.
Yeah. The third thing that could happen is it could have been Michael Cole Glazier calls up his buddy Joe and says, hey, Joe, heard all your projects got canceled. Want to come over here? And then this was just a, part of the process.
Options 2 and 3 are what seem most likely to me.
It's possible.
But either way, I think it's great for him. There wasn't another
I think everybody wins.
There was another Imagineer that was on Rohde's team that worked on a lot of
I believe there's more than that now.
Projects, but have also gone with him to Virgin Galactic. I think it's fascinating. My dad and I watch the NASA channel every night, so we really are interested in space travel. So
I will admit I am more intrigued about Virgin Galactic and the experience it offers today than I was 2 weeks ago.
That's fair.
I'm like, I'm kind of intrigued. It might not just be an empty white box now.
Yeah.
And
well, because SpaceX has been the main contender with they've really thrown their name out there. And so I think that this is Virgin Galactic's chance to really
and it gives them instant credibility. I actually think Disney wins because they have invested in these people that are now going and literally making history. And I would not be surprised if you see a National Geographic thing happen in the near future that's focusing on this. I think everything was done amicably.
Yeah, and I don't think anything was done in bad blood.
And I don't think there's anything nefarious about it in any way. Just because I think they're all good men of character, and women in this case, and so I'm excited to see how it plays out. I think it makes this whole thing seem way more like, I think it gives it a lot of ammunition as it moves forward, and it's going to make it that much more viable and intriguing for people, because they're going to be like, oh, it's not just going in Apollo 11; it's now going on the Disney Cruise Line to space. That's kind of where they're headed.
Definitely.
So it will be fun. All right, let's pivot from space above us to the space in our stomachs.
In our tummies.
Starting this weekend is a month of good eating.
Oh, man.
If you are in Orange County. First off, we have the taste of Boysenberry Festival.
Yes, correct.
Something like that. What is it? Knott's. I'm going to open this up because I need notes.
Knott's Taste of Boysenberry Festival.
Yes. So if you love boysenberries, this is the place you're going to want to be. We've gone to boysenberry festivals in the past, and they are, I would dare say, one of our favorite food festivals year round, just because you always find something you like, and you always find something new that you like. And
I want to say something very funny.
Go.
Last year, March 21st was our press event for the Knott's Boysenberry Festival. I worked really hard to get my shift covered. Mm-hmm. I said, please, guys, I just want to go to this Boysenberry Festival event. And then our store closed the day before. And I said, okay, well, I guess that won't be an issue, but I'm going to guess that Knott's is going to close. And then Knott's announced they were closing like 5 days before. That's just what I think about when I think about the Boysenberry Festival now. Anyway.
Now let's think about food.
Food!
And as you're scrolling through this menu, what are you most looking forward to from, and you can pick a couple of things.
I have a few.
Okay.
Mac and cheese bites over tater tots with a boysenberry sriracha ketchup.
That sounds dangerous. Yep.
I love sriracha. Pork bao buns with the boysenberry kimchi.
That one jumped out at me.
Yeah. For sure. As always, there's going to be a fun bun.
Delicious and dangerous, yes.
How do you pass up a fun bun?
I'm looking forward to the Boysenberry barbecue brisket mac and cheese.
Yeah, obviously.
Is always good. I feel like we've had that before, but delicious. They've got an ice cream. I'm scrolling down further, but they have an ice cream stand.
The boysenberry and white chocolate chip cookie witch. Boysenberry icy float.
Yep, those are them.
Boysenberry and basil lemonade.
Most of those sound great.
They have the berry cider.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay, sorry guys, I'm having a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Popcorn with boysenberry butter. That sounds fascinating.
There you go.
We had to bring out the iPads because this is so much to process.
I feel like we've had, no, I don't know that we have, but it sounds good. The veggie chili with boysenberry, cilantro, lime, cauliflower, rice. That actually sounds kind of good.
Sounds pretty good.
The boysenberry kimchi, I agree with you, also sounds interesting, and I think I would try it.
Veggie sliders on a pretzel bun with spinach and a boysenberry aioli.
Okay.
I like that it's a pretzel bun. Boysen butter.
Mm-hmm.
That's way better. You know what I want them to have?
What?
That bread pudding that I had.
That was really good. I'm not seeing that here, but
I know. Ooh, there's Philly cheese fries with boysenberry onion topping.
I could go for that.
Guys.
I kind of wish they also had, like, in my imagination. Oh, Porta Knott's boysenberry punch syrup on waffles the night before last. Excellent choice. Yes.
Yeah.
Boysenberry
is just always a good choice.
It really is.
And I know for sure that when I leave,
I'll barely be able to walk.
Well, I'll barely be able to walk, but I know I will be buying a boysenberry pie on my way out so that my parents can also have a taste of boysenberry.
Yeah, that's almost a must.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we should all just buy pies as we leave, and that would be delicious.
I would buy a pumpkin pie because I love pumpkin pie.
It's the wrong time of year for pumpkin pie.
Shh.
Okay.
It's still my favorite pie.
Okay. Yeah, there's so much good. Like, there's the Mexican street corn chowder with boysenberry tortilla chips.
That was also jumping out to me, yeah.
The hot dog with boysenberry relish we've had before on a boysenberry run bun.
It's like a boysenberry run.
Boysenberry run.
I like that there's a boysenberry key lime tart. That seems like a lot going on. Like key lime and also
I can see it. But you think about it through the years, is often the ones that we've been talking about after the fact the most are the ones that we didn't expect to be.
Totally.
So that could be, they also have Beyond Meatballs with boysenberry barbecue sauce.
You're going to be all over that
this year. I actually think they'll be very good.
I'm not a meatball person, so I'm weird.
Well, and they're Beyond Meatballs, so that's great too.
A boysenberry run would be a fun Knott's 5K event. They should do that.
That's a great idea. They should do that. But they're not the only ones that are going to be giving us way too much food.
No, sir.
Just a couple weeks later, week and a half later, whatever it is, Disney California Adventure is going to have its touch of Disney.
It's hard.
With a lot of food.
Yeah.
And as you're looking through the menu here, first off, before we get to this, they are adding some things to make life so much easier. And they've added mobile check-in for Carthay Circle, and I believe also Lamplight Lounge, and mobile walk-in. So you can just go and scan the QR code.
Yeah, I love that.
And potentially get into both of these restaurants. And recognize, just having a reservation for the restaurant, you also have to have the ticket for a touch of Disney to get into that. So you can't just get in.
You can't just make a
So as you're scrolling through,
yeah,
what are the things that are jumping out to you from this menu, which is ridiculously long?
It is.
Like, it's almost every food you could ever have at the Disneyland Resort.
So, very much looking forward to Mickey Pretzel. So, like, I just really love Mickey Pretzels. And that's what I've been missing every time we go to Downtown Disney. And as I've just been really wanting a Mickey Pretzel, like a good Mickey Pretzel. Also very interested in the Asian style beef barbacoa street tacos.
Yep.
From
I was looking at those too.
Cocina Cucamonga.
Yep.
because that is a lot of words that I like. That
I think
sounds
it's interesting
delicious.
that place also has some of the Bengal barbecue menu items.
Yes.
And those are always a win, whether you want the Bengal beef skewer or the Banyan beef skewer. Both are delicious and dangerous. And the Chieftain chicken skewer.
The new Gold Rush Sundae at Ghirardelli really stands out to me.
I'm sure Murray's going to be all over
I'm
that.
sure Murray's going to be all over that one. Also, not an item.
And it actually does look really good.
It does. Not an item, but they've added our coffee cart to mobile order. The coffee cart that we really enjoy, getting a nice hot coffee that's sometimes not from Starbucks. I'm sorry, Siren, forgive me. They've added it to mobile order, which I'm really excited about.
Smoke Jumpers, they've completely changed the menu.
Completely.
So they've got brisket mac and cheese. They've got a half Monte Cristo sandwich. They've got the Petite Impossible Burger with guac and pepper jack,
which we've had before.
And then they've also got the Impossible Chili Waffle Fries with spiced Impossible Chili with beans, tomato, and corn, spicy mayo, cheddar cheese, and pico de gallo, which actually might be good.
It's not the chili cheese fries from before.
No.
But I love spicy mayo.
Yep.
I love chili. I love beans.
It might be good.
I love cheese.
It kind of jumps out at me.
Yeah. I'm fascinated.
I am intrigued by it.
Also, our pretzel at Sonoma Terrace.
I like that
is
one.
Still there. It's not a Mickey pretzel. There's also the toasted cheese sandwich with tomato basil soup, which is one of those things that's just a staple.
Yep.
It's also one of the last things I ate at the Disneyland Resort.
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay, guys. It's hard.
Yeah.
The hardest thing was that looking at this, I'm I want to eat so many
there's the
things.
Food festival locations too.
Yes.
Where they've got things like the pork banh mi,
the pizza egg rolls.
See, I'm not sure about those. I wasn't as into those as some people.
I didn't like them.
I do like that Delish has Walt's chili.
I know, yeah.
And part of me is I don't even care that I've had it before and I could make it and all this stuff. I'm kind of I just want to go get some Walt's chili because it'll make life better.
I don't care that the waffle has berries and stuff. I just want the waffle.
Okay.
You know what? And the Mickey waffle might be better with the boysenberry, syrup.
And I kind of want the sweet and spicy chicken wings.
Oh, yes.
Golden Dreams. Those sound. And here's the problem. Is I'm going through this, we're 2/3 of the way down the page. We've already got way more food than we could ever eat.
Especially between the two of us.
Spend money on.
Yeah.
There's just no way to do all this. And that will be a challenge. I'm just going to say. There's just ridiculously so much food. And there's mac and cheese and all of these things. Not to mention, there's also going to be characters there. They're going to have things to take pictures of, and
it's going to be a full day experience, especially because when you buy a ticket to this event, PhotoPass is included, which also is kind of sad because obviously I have not had an annual pass, so all of my PhotoPass downloads actually just re-showed up because I haven't had access to them. But it said, you have new PhotoPass stuff. And I said, I do. But PhotoPass will be included for this event. So I think that there's going to be a lot to take photos of, lots to take photos with, a lot to see, a lot to do. I think it's going to be a full day event. And you have to space out how much you're eating.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work. I am curious to see how it works out and how well it's received and all of those things. I think it will be received very, very well. But you never know. I'm just going off of how Carthay Circle or Carthay Restaurant is always out of reservations. Ever since the new Star Wars outpost or Star Wars trading post has opened, line that's ridiculously long. I just feel all of those things keep drawing more and more people, and so that will be it'll be an interesting thing to see. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, but we wish the absolute best for it and for everybody that's going. Hopefully you stay safe and play by the rules so that we can go to more.
Exactly.
Katie, we're running out of time tonight. So what should people do?
Go to dapsmagic.com, check out all the fantastic food lists and read it for yourself. See all the Disney and Geek news as it happens and subscribe to our mailing list.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the videos that we continue to post, whether it's Disney This Day from Egon or some of the archival stuff we've got going, or future vlog as we cover some of these events. You won't want to miss any of them, but thank you so much for joining us tonight. That is all the time that we have for you this week. So we will see you around the corner.
Bye.